Um, so let's do that first. Let's go through the seals. So pure yang. Pinky's touching, middle finger's touching, thumb's touching. The other fingers are kind of continuing that shape, so not out, but in that dome holding shape. This is held, the thumbs end up about at the navel, the palms are at the level of the lower dantian. And held in close, but not touching. It's okay if it touches, but that's not the intention. And the visualization is that this is happening inside the body, around the dantian. The earth heart seal, or the forgiveness seal, is palms down, hands as if holding a ball. It's approximately over the knees with the legs crossed, but in any case the forearms are parallel to each other into the earth. Shoulders back and down, reaching out the elbows a little bit, making space in the upper back. Earth heart. From here to here. And then the initial gather of the cycling of the Qian and Kun, pure yang and pure yin. It's this 3-part circle. We arrive, the palms up, hands relaxed, fingers straight, held in close, shoulders back and down. The solar plexus here at that little nub on your rib cage. Also the level of the liver. And Shu is the mantra. Hands come out. It's not a reach. It's a comfortable. If you reach, then things come out of level. The solar plexus. And then thereafter, it's a single gather, hold, exhale, gather, hold, exhale. And the next gather brings us into the Taoist reality mudra, and it's the index and middle fingers together, and the pinky and ring fingers together. Pinky and ring fingers pointed to heaven, index and middle pointed on the horizon, and the thumbs outstretched. And the sounding of the mantra Hom brings the arms out, the sides of the hands together, spiraling as if you were trying to get, without strain, but as if you were trying to get the backs of your hands to touch. And it's held here for 2 more soundings of the mantra. And the mantra for the next section is the same Hom. And the first part is cycling it back, down the middle dantian, and out. And there's a circle here with your arms and chest. The 3 layers mudra, the 3 fingers connecting on the horizontal, pinkies stretched toward heaven, thumbs toward earth. And Ha brings these out, 4 directions. Seal, pressing the palms, hands in the same position, pressing the palms, shoulders back and down. And golden turtle, make the shape with the straight fingers and hollow palm. Direct the energy with the palms and fingertips at the kidneys. Tuck the pelvis. Hai Hei. And then Ong. And the hands are relaxed, but they're guiding. They come guiding up the spine, all the way up through the crown, and then holding, palms up. And rising up, Wong is this open V, connecting to heaven. And returning the light the golden light, see home to bring it down. Silver light, mudra. Thumb tips touching, sides of the index tips touching that diamond over the navel. And then finally, the Tai Chi mudra. For women, the left hand clasps the right. For men, the right hand clasps the left. Inner thumb pressing gently and firmly on the palm. Outer thumb pressing gently and firmly between the index and thumb on the opposite hands. Hogu point here. Held at the lower dantian. Again, palms at the level of the lower dantian. And elbows down and out, opening up the upper back and shoulders, keeping the shoulders down.
And is the sound for the pilgrim seal, I thought you said home, but here it says N.
Yeah.
But it's not N, it's Om.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was also curious, I know you spoke about the golden light before, but or we were comparing golden to yellow, is what it was, but could you compare the golden light compared to the silver light? Trying to get, I understand like the moon light is the silver light and it's the pearl.
Yeah. The silver light is the reflection of the golden light in the material world. So the way the moon holds the light of the sun. It's that, but in the world. And so transitioning from this worldly form to a kind of greater depth and height of letting it be in the next part of the form, with the changing Wu Wei meditation. But in this, it's the culmination of the pearl moon, the bright moon on Mount Kunlun. Mount Kunlun is the source of the teachings, source of wisdom. It's really the symbolic of the source of being. And so silver light is the presence of the golden light, or the experience of the golden light in the material world. Whereas the golden light is itself the ultimate reality, the radiant space. Tasted this yet, but it smells nice. It's a white tea from John Alley. we stopped last time? You guys remember?
We went through Bolus.
So, Tse rat, Cho ox, Yin tiger, Mao rabbit, Chun dragon, Su snake, Wu horse, Wei goat, Shen monkey, Yu rooster, Shu dog, Hai pig. Water, water, wood, wood. Earth in the wood phase, fire, fire. Earth in the fire phase, metal, metal, earth in the metal phase, and water to finish and begin again. So Wei, goat, is the earth, the fire phase. It's the ripening of the fruit. It's the integration of the flourishing, the peak of summer. It is yin, it's yin earth. Its hidden stems are yi wood, ding fire, ji earth. Its associated trigram is kun earth. The direction is southwest. In the day we feel this energy at between 1 and 3 p.m. In the season, it's roughly the month of July, July 7th-ish to August 8th-ish. The two-week seasons are minor heat and major heat. Though the sun has peaked, it's easy to see in the day, though the sun has peaked midday, it continues to get hotter for the next couple hours. This is that time. The organ associated is spleen. Of the 4 earth phases of this cycle, the earth-associated organ system is spleen and stomach. Excuse me. The spleen is associated with the yin phases. 2 of those earths are yin and 2 of them are yang. The spleen goes with the yin. It is a storage vessel, and the stomach is associated with the yang. It is a vessel of movement. Meridians are small intestine and the hand, taiyang. The note resonance is ji. The human qualities, or the energetic qualities that we sometimes associate with our own behaviors and experience, are enduring, tender, gracious, or if out of balance, sorrowful, escapist, stubborn.
That's sorry. I mean, with goats.
Yeah.
I know that's my human projection on the goat, but those qualities are manifest themselves. Goat way.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, as you say that, I'm looking at escapist.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really thought about that part.
Stubborn and they're sorrowful too.
Are they? Yeah.
Ah,
Right,
sometimes
right.
just seems. Yeah, yeah. And tenfold.
So the transformation is Tai Yin, damp earth. These transformations take place if there is support, that is presence of additional earth energy. And in our form, this is the pilgrim seal, and the 10,000 spirits pay ritual respects. And so, this rising yang of the initial half of the form is brought into the body and up to the head.
I was just wondering about 10,000. In Tai Chi, there are 10,000 sword fairies.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably a translation. But
I think this is, in Shiatsu, it's the 10,000 meeting point. We're talking about.
so 10,000 comes up again.
Yeah. It's both in Chinese culture and Taoism specifically, it means everything.
Yeah.
It means all things.
Yeah.
And so if it's spirits, it's all spirits. The sword fairies is probably sword spirits,
Yeah.
more literally.
Yeah.
Then it means all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm curious that that number kind of emerged to
Yeah.
represent that. It feels right when you say it.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I guess I could have said a gajillion billion.
Right.
Doesn't have the same meaning, yeah. The fall energy begins at the end of that first week of August. That metal energy is initiated. The name of that month here, that part of the phase, part of the cycle rather, is Shen Monkey. It is yang metal. It's hidden stems, hidden heavenly stems, these parts of the heavenly energies that are present in that season are Wu, earth, Gong, metal, and Run, water. Those are all yang. The trigram is still Kun, earth, in the southwest.
Can you speak a bit more about what the hidden stems means? The energies of...
So the heavenly stem energies are kind of relationships to heavenly bodies in the cycle, that are kind of received and reflected on Earth. This other heavenly body, but one from which we are, is our center, is our place of perspective. And in a way, it is those that are the source of the earthly expression of these energies, which is what we're identifying here with the branches. Our experience of this part of the cycle is this cycling of exposure to yang energy, heavenly energy from the sun and the other heavenly bodies. And so the result is this energy is like a cord of several energies that we identify as a single thing. But we can also identify the parts that are behind that single thing, which are these heavenly stem energies.
Do you envision like the branches coming up from below and the heavenly stems coming down from above?
Yeah, or the heavenly, it has that way about it. And so it's more the feeling that we, that kind of averages out to our experience. Energy that averages out to the feeling of our experience is the earth branch energy. And the source of those energies is the heavenly stems. And so there is this above and below, there is this kind of directionality.
Okay, I guess the word stem, like we might use the word stem, meaning like almost like the stem comes from the source, or it stems from. You use the term something stems from something else, and then branches is almost like, and then it branches out.
Right.
I don't know. Just
Well, it's meant to turn our awareness a little bit on that concept, right? Where the root is heaven.
Yeah, I was going to say upside down tree. I
Yeah.
was visualizing it
Yeah.
as you were talking.
So it descends from the root and flows to the branches. And the Tao gives rise to all things from the Jing Jing Jing. So the branches you can think of as a river branching on a flat delta, like this, and the rain being a way to visualize energy descending from above. And so it's like the flitting and floating cloud, is the source, and the rain comes down and branches out. So that's kind of the way about it. Yeah.
What does gua
Pattern.
pattern? Okay.
And so the Bagua is the
Right.
eight pattern.
Right.
And we use the same word for both the 3-part pattern and the 6-part pattern.
It's interesting how the sequence of the cycle that the trigram go out for heaven and earth are so close together.
Say it again?
Am I reading it, or the Wei and Shen, God and Monkey, are all yin in the trigrams, which is earth, isn't it?
So Wei, the branch Wei goat is yin earth, and the branch Shen monkey is yang metal.
And they have the same.
And they both have, yeah, they both have kun earth, yeah.
And after rooster, the next two branches have the same Gua and Sim.
Mhm.
Well, I don't think they should do it now. They should be sort of separated by more.
Yeah. It's,
But you have to time travel and bring it up with them. The ancients.
I'm trying to remember, there are different arrangements of the Bhagavad, and it's at the time of creation and it's after. And some patterns have a slightly different organization before and after.
Mm.
I'm not remembering quite on that. If that fits in with this, or I'm off on a tangent.
yeah, this is the post-natal, which is post-celestial, so post coming into being, and the arrangement is the pattern of our experience. So it's an observed pattern, not a generated one.
I'm curious when you say the 8-part pattern, I'm just, counting like 3 and then there's 6 layers. When you say 8-part, what is the 8?
John, do you mind turning this mic to a wider, just remembering,
Oh, yeah.
so that people can hear the questions better? It's that lower right button.
This one?
The one that
Oh yeah, because it's
underneath the shotgun versus how many degrees or whatever.
90.
Sure. So the 8-part pattern is the Bagua, and it's an arrangement of these 3-line trigrams in a compass-like or clock-like orientation. So that's the cardinal directions and the axial directions. So there are 8 of those patterns. There are 8 possible ways to arrange 3 lines. So the 6-line patterns, there are 64 ways, and those are arranged in the same way, either compass or clock, space or time. They articulate the same transformations in greater detail. So each of those 3-line patterns can be kind of zoomed in on the detail by adding lines, additional yang and yin. So each of those 3, the next line could be yang and it could be yin, and in those 2 differences we see a little more subtle variation. And so I did say 6-part, it's more clear to say 6-line. So the 3-line patterns and the 6-line patterns, the trigram or we just say gua, usually, or hexagram for the sixth line.
This is a hexagram?
The six
Oh,
are the hex.
okay. Hex means 6.
Yeah.
And what about the time with each one? Like, you to look at the date now, which is September 8th to October 8th. So the time is, that's rooster is 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Wondering what just about that.
Yeah, so it's the, if winter solstice is midnight and summer solstice is noon, then as we divide the 24-hour day into 12 double hours, as we say, that's where it falls on the basically equinox axes 6 and 6.
Right. And I'm wondering about is that time frame for each part of the axis, does it have a particular meaning or use, or is it, you see what I'm asking, if we're in the time of 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., is that just, is there a
Well,
particular?
I mean, we recognize by identifying the pattern in both time and space, and then the qualities of these patterns in time and space, we see their simultaneity and equivalence. And so, on the one hand, we see our orientation toward 1 to 3 p.m. We recognize our sort of physical and mental experience in July. You know, it's time to rest, time to restore within the yang. The yang is activity of the year, both externally and internally, is peaking. And so it's time to draw back and allow the transition or integration. So in identifying the time, we have the opportunity to kind of feel that similarity. And then even feel the sort of human qualities in that time of day, the enduring quality, I don't know, I mean, you can see with the how the way that time of day or season wants rest or nap time after lunch
Right,
or
I was
something,
gonna
right?
say.
Yeah.
That's what I was
You can also see how that is kind of, in one manifestation is escapist, right? And in the other is tender.
Right.
Or gentle.
Well, it's interesting that 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. the equinox, and there's the rooster, and the rooster literally gets everybody roosting
Yeah.
at the time, settling in for the night,
Yeah, I hadn't made that
becoming quiet.
connection, and that helps me make sense of it, because the usual question is sensible. I think also is, why is the rooster not in the morning? But the rooster has a role, as you observe,
Yeah, I mean,
on
these
both
rooster
parts
has
of the
more to do
day.
at that time of day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it something like that.
Right.
How does it call the chickens? Or how does it call everybody to roost?
Well, I mean, I've observed that the rooster often starts roosting first.
Okay, so just
But
like
will
by
also make
physical
special
example.
calls.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's usually in there first.
I see.
And might come out again if anybody's wandering. It's starting to get dark.
Okay.
Let me go in.
Stragglers.
Literally is the gatherer of that time of day.
Hmm.
Definitely had never put together rooster with one who roosts. Yeah. That's great.
It's like, come to bed because I'm going to wake you up tomorrow.
Right.
Exactly.
There you go. Just before dawn.
We'll be up with it.
Yeah, that's great. So Shen Monkey, Yang Metal, 3 to 5 p.m. August essentially, but starting with the second week. The two parts, the two-week seasons are establish autumn and end heat. Metal organ systems are lung and large intestine. And so this is the yang, the organ that moves. Large intestine. The meridians are the bladder meridian and the foot taiyang. The vibration, the note is G sharp. The quality is spiritual, expansive, spontaneous, wise, or if constricted, out of balance, excess or deficient, opportunistic or rushed.
What does ministerial mean in this context? Ministerial firefight concept.
Yeah, it's a technical name. It is so compared to imperial fire. It manages rather than.
Ministers.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
What are the what?
They're transformations that Hua means transformation. So so this metal energy can transform to fire energy in the right conditions or in certain conditions.
We've said that before. It's okay.
Yeah, it's a lot going on here.
It's sort of the alchemical potential.
We don't use it in that context so much. It's more the climate or medicinal, climate relationship to the body. but in anticipating the pattern of the year, if it's a Shen monkey year, in the presence of fire in other parts of the pattern, that metal energy will that cool, dry energy will transform to fire energy. So we might, if we're anticipating how to plant or harvest, then we might anticipate, we might understand that it will be hot during this time rather than the expected coolness, whether that's in the month or the year pattern. So in our form, that's the purple palace hand seal. It's really a full body seal, including orientation of the mind, but and then the name of the form, the part of the form is the spiritual chi mingles at the purple palace. So we've brought the energy, the refined energy that we've cultivated and refined in the first part of the form, into the body, to the root, the source, the kidneys, the water, and then up the spine to the crown and the upper dantian, purple palace. And that refined chi, the spiritual chi, it's a different character than chi in other contexts. Fall energy is also like mountain, high mountain, alpine air energy, and that also has this sort of literal, closer to heaven aspect.
Does the chong there have to do with the central channel, or it's?
Center is Zhong, ZH. Although that character is part of this character. So it could be etymologically significant, but it's not the meaning of that character.
Just thinking of the chong vessel.
Yeah, Chongmai. Yeah, that's not specifically the same as this.
Sorry, that's
Yeah.
I'm curious, with the gua, the two different, the 3-line, 6-line,
Yep.
how do you choose which to look to for what purpose?
The 6-line gua, the hexagrams, are a great intuitive visualization of the process, the rising yang, the unbroken lines, culminating with the snake, and merging with the limitless, or the center is boundless, part of the form. So that the progression of the cycle is easy to visualize there. There's and in the detail of those particular hexagrams. If you look in various versions of the I Ching, will fill out our understandings of that part of the phase. And then the trigrams are useful in part in each of their own qualities that we have through study of them. In particular, if we carry with us things that we know about those qualities, and they're associated with both time and space in this similar way. But 8 divisions instead of 12, and different articulations because it's with this binary model. So the approach to how each informs our understanding is similar. They're each different words, different vessels of meaning, symbols that from whether this is our initial exposure and we begin to develop associations through these, or whether we bring the whole constellation of meanings from other study, they inform each other. I don't know if that's helpful. It's always in every direction. This form is helping us understand those hexagrams. Those hexagrams are helping us understand the form. So we're through cycles of refinement in our study, we gradually expand or develop the subtlety and complexity of those constellations of meanings, and then the way they relate is to each other is identified in some of these correlations here.
He looks also looking at this, just contemplating this. It's like a breath. The breath starts in here and gets to the fullest, most expansive moment, lifting moment, and then it empties. Goes into the quiet bottom of the breath. Stillness.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we think of both the day and the year as these nested breaths. This is the breath of nature. The inhale is the expansion that culminates in the summer, and the exhale is the return to winter.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exactly right.
And also the sense of kind of learning and gathering and terms and techniques, and then getting to a point where kind of feel despair and let them go.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. The raft is for getting across, not for
Right. Are the different sounds ever used in some way for healing in the tradition?
Yep.
Organ or healing in other ways?
Yeah. Yeah, my grandmaster in this lineage, the Omei lineage, was both a doctor and a soldier, which is a common pattern in the tradition and in a way, just as it happens. But and he would use these and also some similar both movements and mantras as isolated prescriptive remedies to his patients.
Master was got some material about that in the Costa Corbett book. Look at each one of the gold. Some associations with
And I remember I talked about my thumb and my nerve
Yeah.
impingement. And just last night I was talking to somebody and she's like, oh, I had something similar. And what I was taught to do is go like this as a nerve glide. Go like that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I
Yeah.
was taught that's
Totally.
yeah.
Has it gotten better?
I did that a bit this week, and then but last night I did it exceptionally a lot. Like, I was driving home from Omega, because I worked there, and like the whole drive I was like it felt really good. And it's interesting because it felt like very good to do that. And then a PT gave me other exercises, but this has felt the most, like I felt a yes when I was doing it.
Mhm.
And then it was just interesting, this woman just said that, so.
Yeah.
Still working its way out.
Yeah. Cool. So you, rooster, yin metal is the peak. The metal energy in autumn. Shin is the hidden stem. Doi Lake is the trigram. Western direction, 5 to 7 p.m. I think one of the initial ways into kind of feeling these space and time matrices is to start to feel how west, the setting sun, west energy is like autumn energy, the setting of the year. But to start to hold the time, the clock and the compass as feeling the time in the space and the space in the time, I think is a good basic use of these understandings, these correlations.
I don't want to go off track, but we live in the Northeast with the change of seasons in China and Japan, but then in a tropical place,
Mhm.
their seasons are different, where they have the monsoon and the dry season.
Mhm.
I'm curious, how can this be transposed there?
Yeah.
And it's just a different flavor of sorts, or subtleties that.
It'd be the same but different. So it would be it's like the waves have a lower amplitude in a way, so the feeling of fall would be more subtle as you get close to the equator or the pole. The difference would be more subtle. There would be those same cycles. And you may find some interesting correlations to the proximity to fire type transformations there that I haven't looked at with that orientation, but that might be of interest. But the main way, excuse me, the main way I think about it is indeed our midpoint latitude is in sync with these variations. So we see them much as they are articulated here, but both the pole and the equator expressions are still happening. It's just less variation.
I could imagine the form starting with, or maybe ending with established winter. It's very interesting. I guess because this is the first place in Sue Rat that the neon energy is showing up in the pattern.
Well, arguably that's how we practice it, right?
Yeah.
We enter into the initial part of the form from
You've been doing that.
stillness. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like that first yarn line is kind of flashing. Like it's turning on at that.
Right.
And then the next,
Yeah.
sort of like.
Like glitchy, it's like.
It's a theory.
And then I think of it sort of like looking at a map on a flat piece of paper as opposed to a globe.
Mhm.
Really, you should, sort of like cylindering.
Mhm.
It's a big circle.
Yeah.
It's so interesting you said flashing, because I look at the 6-line
Yeah.
law and for rat, and there's a whole system of pattern system, probably connects to this in some ways in homeopathy, looking at the periodic table. And the quality of neon in homeopathy is coming out of stillness and just, and having, when it's out of balance, having difficulty connecting or functioning in the world at all. Because there's so much stillness and just a little bit of flashing.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
The energy of that pulse is
The energy of that. And
insufficient.
that's at one end of the periodic table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. West 5, so we're on U Rooster, Yin Metal, West 5 to 7 p.m. September essentially, but specifically September 8th-ish to October 8th-ish, varies a little each year. The two-week seasons are white dew and autumn equinox.
My friend literally just showed me yesterday a video that she took of her farm, red vineyard orchard, red vineyard. Anyway, and it was all covered in white dew. Like it was exceptionally white dew. on all the plants. I was like, is that ice crystals? She's like, no, it's just dew. It's like, wow, it's so solid.
The angle of light changes, I think.
Mm.
Lung organ system, kidney and foot Shaoyin, meridians. Vibration is A, the note, musical note. Qualities in a person might be stylish or influential, faithful, alert.
Are the I don't know what you call this, but the language, like Shaoyin, does that mean kidney foot?
No, it's kidney or foot
obviously
Shaoyin,
it's
yeah.
Yin yang, okay.
So it's their foot or hand. There's a foot Shaoyin and a hand Shaoyin.
Okay, I see. Okay, great. Heart.
That's just so you can fit it in stage there, so like 3 things.
Yeah. Probably oversight when I was adjusting my columns. But also these are mostly useful to Chinese medicine folks who would be familiar with that distinction already. So it's useful with the qualities like stylish or like beautiful. This sort of jewel-like jewelry, like shine of polished metal, kind of integrate that feeling and also has qualities like communication and cutting through. Which you can see aligned with influential.
And just maybe ironically, though, just how people value gold over silver. I mean, I'm just kind of playing around with it. I'm seeing here, but just the stylish, the shiny, the flashy gold light, steel.
Yep. Out of balance, arrogance and pride. The difference between beauty and vanity. Transforms to dry metal. A golden light seal. Golden light returns, illuminates.
And is there no sound with it because it's kind of like it's nameless or sound?
We don't know why, especially, but that feeling is like that. It's also the a kind of, the action is in the inhale and hold. It's like you're bringing it in on the inhale. You know, feels like an intuitive way to make sense of it to me. It's inward.
Some of them are just sounds I can associate with the animal. The horse and the goat in particular are the same. You've heard pressed to have a meditative form of the sound like a rooster, I think.
Yeah, there's probably a thread there, but it's not too direct, I don't think.
Same with the characters, which are probably are they somewhat pictographic?
They certainly were at some point, and sometimes that is a continuous development that's still in the character, and sometimes it may be there, but it's not so clear.
It's very snake-like looking.
It's true.
They've got ears and...
I see those characters in particular. Those characters do have an explicit. I thought you meant characters and titles and such.
Oh, no, I mean
Yeah.
the cliff.
And then Master Wu goes into good detail of that kind of thing here. So our time is coming to an end here. Are there lingering questions or observations?
I'd like to mention briefly an experience I had, I think was when we were holding the silver plate at the end. I felt so strongly that it wasn't an integrated feeling. The left side of my body was kind of was yin, so yin, and the right side had become so yang. They were kind of like that, and dark and light, and I just, the question arose, okay, how do I integrate this? And then I kind of just let it go, and then it felt like, I don't know if my body was moving or not, but there was just this little thing that started happening. So I just noticed. And then when it stopped, that somehow it had all been integrated.
Yeah.
I didn't have that.
Yeah,
I'm just mentioning it
Yeah.
because it's interesting
yeah, wonderful. Yeah,
how bodies
yeah, and that
do these things.
that approach is the one I try to emphasize as well. The letting it be and the allowing space for it to
See what
self-harmonize. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the direction is always toward harmony. The excesses lead to deficiencies or to diminishment. And
Yeah, this was really interesting. I asked the question
yeah, yeah.
and then
Finding the center. Yeah, great.
You've
Thank you.
said it before,
Yeah.
but there seems there's something different in the quality of the first and second part of the form. I'm kind of remembering
Yeah,
the golden turtle. You said sort of bringing it back into the body.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering if you can
Um,
elaborate what that first.
yeah. The first half is form within emptiness. The second half is emptiness within form. Like we're engaged with, or what's happening is more of a revelation of center original yang. It's like the sprout is sprouting. And then that bearing fruit, we then return that to earth, return that to the body. So that is, it's a practice. One aspect of this is that the dynamic of the first half of the form is kind of in center without location, whereas in a boundless space, whereas the second half is in the bounded space, which is perpetually adapting to existing. And that is here in the body, and we're, the energy's here, and then it's here. So it's not something that we need to worry about so much. But,
yeah.
we're the yang comes into being first, I guess, is one way of looking at it as well.
In a way, that first phase is sort of prior to coming into being.
In a way, yeah. Yeah.
That was what I think that's what I thought, and so I just wanted to.
Yep. So, within the alchemical language, I know you've read plenty of you can come at the entire cycle as if it's a external medicine gathering, and then again distinctly differently as a internal medicine cultivation and refinement, and then completely without form as well. So great medicine as well. The alchemical language has various subsets, including one of medicine. Like in scripture, the body, or the greatest medicine is within, the Shen, Qi, and Jing. the scriptural statements, these structures, these models can be have certain understandings in the kind of physical layer, certain understandings in the chi layer, and certain understandings in the spirit awareness layer. So that's the framework of the language that I'm referring to here. I know John has read a lot and is familiar with that language. So.
I had a sense. What you were saying was right, but then there's this continuity and so I didn't want to be reading something into
Right.
those two parts that wasn't there, so that's why I wanted to rectify.
Yeah, so that, on the one hand, the cycle is these many transformations, the 10,000 transformations of yin becoming yang, becoming yin, becoming yang. But all of the patterns are nested, and so there's also a simply yang half and yin half, in the same way that there's the inhale and exhale that Julie mentioned. But there's a way in which yang is immaterial and yin is material. And so that plays out there as well. All right, let's wrap. Thank you.
And maybe off the record or whatever, maybe people want to know that are out there just as curious about your, how you came to the